Whew. Okay, so I am getting ready to go fishing right before a little bit of a storm. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going fishing actually with a one of my classmates. He had hit me up via Snapchat because he watches one of my videos, and he's like, "Hey man, you want to go fishing? You know, I know some decent spots around here, some decent areas that we could get on some fishing." I said, you know, why not? And we actually shared some of the same locations and spots like that. So I'm going out right now. I got a little bit of battery life on this battery, but hopefully on the other ones I have some more life. And I'm gonna get out, do a little bit of a fun video today. Hopefully catch some fish. Got some water in the lens already, but it's raining. It's gonna come down. So we're gonna go back, way back in the woods. Not way back, but back in the woods. See if we can find some fish, and stay tuned. Come on. Yeah. Zing. Fun fact, I actually used to ride my bike up to this hill every now and then to fish this spot. I've never really caught anything massive out of here. I know there's big fish in here, and Billy's seen some big fish and caught some big fish out of here, but I personally have never done amazing here. Like my best five has probably gone like 5 pounds, which is absolute weak sauce. Should be a good time. We got a little bit of a transitional period right now when, oh, speaking of which, it's right by the Southeastern Ohio Regional Jail, so that's always a real confidence booster when you're out there in the middle of the woods trying to catch bass. So there's Billy. I'm gonna get out of the car, and we're gonna put a hurting on some fish. Thankfully I brought my boots today. Oh man, this one's full of scum. I've caught one out of here. Really? Yeah. Wow, looks good. That's a nice first fish. It's like third cast.
Yeah.
What's that on?
It's like a little Zoom finesse worm.
Oh, you're just wacky rigging it?
Nail weight, yeah.
Oh, nail weight, like a Neko rig.
Yeah.
Right off that little.
Choked it.
It's actually not a bad little fish. It is nice out. I couldn't have picked a better day to go fishing. Only been out here for like 2 seconds, for God's sakes.
Like a pound and a half.
Pretty fish too.
Yeah.
Nice one. Billy's got one on. Got him hung up in the grass. That's actually not too bad. On that Neko rig again. Man, he's just smoking me over here. I can't even get a look. For those of you guys who don't know what a Neko rig is, I'll show you here in a bit, but basically I'm going to talk about it. You take a worm, it doesn't have to be anything specific. If you're doing something more subtle, small worm works good. You can do a small worm like a 4-inch or even like a 5-inch or a little bit bigger than that, depending on what your presentation is. And put a little nail weight or some sort of lead at the head or tail end, and you hook it in the middle almost like a wacky worm. The one side that's not weighted suspends and kind of moves right in front of the fish's face while the weighted side stays on the bottom. It's a really effective technique for pressured waters, and it's kind of that's a West Coast thing, isn't it? Yeah, it originated straight from West Coast. So let me see how you do that. Oh, I see.
Take the actual, that's the head of the worm, put that weight in there, and then I do the flat side out, and this worm, it'll fall straight down like that, and it'll sit, and whenever the bass picks it up, You hook them right. I mean, just.
So you hook it closer to the head of the bait, so.
Yep.
So basically you have more tail room at the top.
Right.
And then you don't really do, I mean, you hook it in the position kind of you would on a wacky worm, but you thread it through and then bring it back up.
Yeah, you don't use it.
I might have to do a video on that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I'm on the board. It's a decent little fish too. We were just talking about fishing in lakes and stuff like that, and I keep, dude, how many times did I fish that thing? Probably
like 4, 5, 6.
That same piece of wood, and I'm just doing it just for fun to keep my mind off things. And I finally got a decent one. It's probably about close to 3 pounds. It's got a big head on it, a little skinny. But, I caught that on that Z-Hog. This bait of it was thrown last week with flare, and don't know 1/8 ounce. The plastic's getting in the way. Using that 7/6 Kistler rod. Nice fish though. Nice green head on it. I'm gonna get a picture back in the water. Stay tuned. Wow, I'm really shocked.
She have any red marks in her mouth?
I didn't look. I didn't see nothing. All I saw was some mud.
You ever use halos?
No.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah. So we are currently heading back to the original pond where Billy caught that one fish that we started off the video with, and sun's coming out. It's around 5 p.m. Following this little creek trail right now. Seen a bunch of little minnows actually in this creek trail. It's not even an inch deep. Like right there's a little minnow swimming, if you can see that. Coming up on a money spot here. Oh, okay, look at them all. Poor dudes. So, you know, day's kind of nearing the end. We're gonna fish one more little lake. But the pattern definitely for today was fishing slow, fishing subtle. Having something that was, while it did maintain bottom contact, had a portion of it kind of right in front of the fish's face, and you know, it was too shallow to fish a drop shot really. So what Billy did was utilize that Neko style rig, very unique rig, very effective rig for pressured waters or when fish are kind of finicky, and smoke those fish. I know, that's why I was wondering why I threw that frog in there too. Even though they really weren't hitting it too hard, I thought for sure it'd be something that would sniff it. It's kind of deep over there too, isn't it? Yeah. So Billy and I just moved over to this other side of the lake. It's kind of active right now. I'm getting a lot of bites, and I'm on Periscope right now, as you can see right there. So, you know, we're gonna fish for a couple more minutes, see if we can pick off a few fish. I still want to throw the frog at least for a couple more casts up in this area over here. Look at that. I mean, that just looks so good. Like I said, this is just a beautiful place to fish. So I'm gonna keep going with Periscope for a little bit more and then get back on there. Look, there's one rod right there. You see, he's gonna be on YouTube. Oh, come on, focus. There we go. There's Mike. But just a beautiful scenery. Bunch of fish in here. Missed that one nice one. Maybe stick one more pig before it's time to head in, but it's getting late, so that's the deal. Awesome. I might just put this in my pocket and keep going. I could probably do that. Like right. Oh, I don't have a pocket. Damn. Dang, man. Goes. Oh my God. Look at this fish. I just caught an absolute tank. I mean, this is like the definition of an Ohioan tank. I was throwing a little cherry craw. The bite was insane. They pulled the rod on my hand. And I set hook, and I go forward. I don't know if you saw me, but I literally went forward because he took me right around a piece of timber, got him off that piece of timber, got me stuck on literally every single freaking piece of wood or stump in this lake, and I finally brought him in. I mean, that's a freaking chunk. Look at that fish. That's probably one of the biggest Ohio bass I've ever caught. I mean, dude, there's not a single skinny spot on this bass. Look at that fish. I'm gonna get a picture. Put her back in the water. That is incredible. I'll get her a drink real quick. All right, going for the release for this giant. Just put it on Periscope real quick. you guys want to check it out, or it won't be up anymore, but if you guys want to watch some of my other periscopes, I'll leave the username right there. But there she is. Just a beautiful fish. I mean, regardless of the size, it's just an absolute beauty of a bass. Wow, that's crazy. That's an insane day to end the trip. I mean, I only caught, what, like 3 fish today, but every single, besides that one, they've all been just really nice. Whew, I was shaking there for a bit because over here there's a piece of timber right there, and then it got hung up on that one too right before I brought it in. Literally the only thing that saved me was the fact that I'm throwing a 7.6 rod. This is a Kistler KLX. It's a fantastic stick for getting, you know, fish up and out of timber and grass. And throwing that Shimano Sata Kid, dragged and slipped once. And the thing that really, really saved me was this line, Sunline's FC flipping. It's a 22-pound test. It's for real is the deal. But I'm not gonna get endorsements by him, but it for real is awesome stuff, and I swear by it. That and Seagull are 2 of my favorite lines. But something about this 22-pound test FC flipping, it goes through stuff very well, and in that situation it saved my butt. If I was sewing 20 or 17-pound test or regular floor, I would have been in a huge issue, because Billy saw it too, and I mean, that fish wanted to get in anything he could find. But gorgeous fish. I haven't caught a fish like that in quite some time, so that was a real treat. But fish for, I guess, a couple more minutes now, and then head on in as it's getting pretty dark. That was so cool. That'll make the video great. Good way to end the day. Nice little ecosystem back here. You know, I don't think it gets hit too much. I've seen a few people back here, but I don't think, at least by bass anglers, it gets hit too much. And the important part is, if you ever fish something like this, if you guys out there have a similar situation where it's a backwoods pond and it doesn't get touched too much because it's a nice ecosystem, be sure, you know, you're always putting them back. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but it's definitely one of those things that you want to keep the ecosystem running and a good cycle. And today we put all our fish back. Have had no dead ones, no gut hooks, which is really good, and I like to see, because we were just talking about earlier, there's probably not a whole lot of fish in here, so it's important that we keep putting the ones that are in here back in the water. There's one.
Oh, another good one.
Nice little bass. See, he hit it pretty hard too. I thought he was a nice one.
Did you see when he hit it, the bubbles come out?
Yeah, that was weird. Because he was on the bottom, he was kicking up the bottom. And Billy just said, when I was getting bit, there was bubbles coming up, which means he was pounding at the bottom, releasing some of that mud under there. That's interesting. You ever think that's the case when they're hitting crawls or something like that? All right, so you notice what?
When throwing like wiggleworts or some type of craw crank imitator in the springtime, even fall, when them wiggleworts, they hunt real close to the bottom and they'll just zigzag, and the bass, they'll come down and they'll hit it against the bottom. So a lot of times guys won't get hook sets on wiggleworts, and they're like, "Why? I'm getting bit, but I can't get hooked up." Well, when you get bit, like, you got to drag it, and it delays that crankbait. Oh. So the fish, they like hit it to like try and knock it out, and then they'll bite it again.
And they'll come back.
Yeah.
And you see the bubbles when that happens usually?
Well, I mean, that's just like,
oh, when they come down and hit it.
When they they hit the bottom so hard.
So that's what I was wondering too, because I got hit and there was slack in my line. Then he came back again, and then he started running with it. I think you're right. I think sometimes they're just like full. Like I said, they're going full speed at it. They're either super hungry or super mad at whatever's down there. Right. And that's a good point. That's maybe a reason why a lot of dudes, and myself too, it happens a lot with me, miss a fish on the initial hook set, or first bite. Excuse me, the first bite of a fish. You got to give the fish some time. On that one, I did. Wrapping up the day right now. Billy and I had an awesome day out in the water. Caught some nice fish. Got the numbers down. Did you have fun, man?
Yes, sir.
That was a good time. I guess it's not completely unlocked. Just so people know, what worm were you throwing on that majority of the time?
Zoom Finesse worm.
It was what color?
I threw the green pumpkin, I threw the morning dawn.
Well, that looks actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And that was kind of how were they hitting it?
You know, honestly, you hold your line tight, and then you just feel slack.
Okay.
And you'd lift into them, and
they'd just be there. That's interesting. So was it like a drop shot bite, or was it a little bit different?
Yeah, it's a lot like it. You don't want to like jack them like a drop. Feel the bite. You want to just lift into them and just start reeling.
Pressure.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. With that style hook too.
Yeah, with open hooks. Yeah.
Probably do this again, right? Probably head out in the water some other time. Yeah, especially as this is my favorite time to fish too, so we'll do it. Look at my boots from this. I got so much pollen or something from hiking through all that stuff. Generally when I'm doing hike, because I do a lot of hiking, but generally when I do this, I find all sorts of good stuff in my boots. After I'm done, I'm probably gonna find a little salamander in there. I gotta find where to put this so I'm not messing up my car. I'll probably put it on top of my waders, to be honest. Oh, jeez. That was a fun experience. Huge shout out to Billy for taking me out here. I mean, he knows this place way more than I do. Even though I've come out here and fished, he's kind of got it pinned down and numbered down, as you may be able to tell. You know, that with that finesse bite he had going. But huge shout out to him for taking me out. Maybe next time I'll take him out. I don't know too many spots around here, but work on an area to fish before it gets too cold. Although I do really like, I need these. Might have to capitalize on the fact that it's getting to be really good fishing weather, so might see a whole lot of videos here shortly, because this weather is awesome. I love fishing this time of year. It just get real cool. The fish, they get clustered up. It's a real active time. They like to move up shallow and do all sorts of fun stuff. And it's easy to catch them this time of year. And you can generally get a nice fish, as you may be able to tell today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. As always, leave me comments. I love your guys' comments and questions, and I enjoy reading some of my emails that I get, although I do need to respond to some. But it's been a good couple of days. Gonna film a lot more videos coming up as it is nearing one of my favorite times to fish. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time on the next episode of Fish in the Midwest.